Greetings. First of all, thanks so much to Akita International University and its research showcase event for inviting me. My name is Antonio Nadal-Masegosa. I'm coming from the Theory and History of Education, Social Pedagogy, and Research and Diagnostic Methods from the Faculty of Educational Sciences of the University of Malaga. And today, I'm here to present Universal Revolutionary Pedagogical Principles, the Ferrer Guardia's Modern School. First of all, something that we have to know is that sometimes when we are students or when we are young researchers, we have to face the need of reading something that we might call consumer intellectuals, those academics who just represent the values of the capitalist system. But sometimes we can go a little bit beyond, a little go further, and find revolutionary intellectuals. That's what happened to me. When I was a student, I had to read this book from Paulo Freire and other, consumer intellectuals, instead of being able to read the modern school of Francisco Ferrer Guardia. Also, I could never read a book like that one that you are seeing there in its Arabic edition, Surveillance and Punishment, The Birth of the Prison, from Michel Foucault. Sometimes we have a lack of training related to people who really wanted to change education and even the world. So sometimes you might be learning through music, and this cover was really shocking for me, from the music album, from the first music album of the band Rage Against the Machine. And sometimes your teachers might be your best friends and your best, and the best way for you to learn, but sometimes might be your enemies. That's what happened to me. They told me not to read the modern school. I did the opposite, and that's the reason now I'm a university teacher. I didn't follow what they told me. And this is also related to this. When I started to research about this topic, I found out that we have untouchables, eminences, that we cannot discuss. But when I was reading them, these university professors that I had to read, I found out that they were writing things that I could not find where they were taken from. I couldn't find the source of what they were writing. And that happened, like, for example, with these books. And the second one, even, we could have sexist chapters, like one called Ferrer and His Woman, which I found really annoying. Then when we research, I think we have to go to the primary sources, something quite related to the facts. And the facts in this case might be the book, The Modern School, but then some more that were related to the time and the author and founder of Modern School, Francisco Ferrer Guardia. One of them was this libertarian newspaper that you can see there, which was called The General Strike. And then we also have the second one, Principles of Scientific Morality, that was written down in jail when Ferrer had 1 year in jail. And then the third one that you can see there is the Bulletin of the Modern School, because they thought that every school should have a publication. Now I have this question for you. Who do you think killed more than 400,000 people in the Spanish state? It was the Spanish Inquisition. I also took a primary source for giving you this data. It's taken from that book you see there, and this book was written by a former member of the Spanish Inquisition. In Spain, it officially ended in 1834. Before that, as you might know, they killed and tortured a lot of people. The situation of the kids in Spain by that time, when the modern school was created, was really hard. In Spain, boys and girls were working under, child labor exploitation. Those few that could go to school will suffer hitting, punishments, And of course, the main goal of this type of education was to train in Catholic values. Ferrer didn't enjoy going to school because he didn't want to be punished or suffer violence, so he left the school and he went to live in France. In France, he started to get close and even to get in Masonry, which is something quite important in the story of this experience. But also, he came a little bit after the Paris French Commune had happened, as you can see there, in 1871. Then France was under, a little bit of revolutionary movement, and there it was people like Louise Michel, one of the most important, from my point of view, revolutionary woman in Europe, but he also met revolutionary characters like Charles Malatot, the geographer Élisée Reclus, the educator pedagogue Paul Robin. As you can see there, he got a school like the modern school in France, who lasted more than 10 years, but he also knew Peter Kropotkin. And then coming back to Spain, he met Anselmo Lorenzo, a really important character too. And before coming back to Spain, an anarchist pro-education committee was created with Kropotkin, Bakunin, Élisée Reclus, Louise Michel, and this type of really important people. Now, what is rationalist teaching? It's teaching based in reason, not in religion, not in myths, but in science. Science was the most important thing, and we have to find reasons for everything. We need to know what is capitalism about, and this is atheism experience, atheist experience. Also, as I'm saying, the most important thing in this school was also scientific and morality. You need to understand a lot of things of how world is, going on. You need to understand what is property, what is authority, what is justice, or if we really had justice, what are borders, nations, flags, patriotism. So we had a lot of things to learn in this school. And the most important thing, question absolutely everything. Another important thing that happened in this school was social class co-education. This school was not only for working class people, but for everyone. In Spain, it was not allowed to mix boys and girls in schools. The modern school started to do it. Hygiene was absolutely important, and also playing. And they also wanted to have sex education, which was a scandal for that time. Remember, we are talking about 1901, and from 1901 to 1906. This was what was going on in modern school. The first thing was to check out if everything was clear and if everything and in everyone was clean, because there was a time of a lot of pandemics. So we have to take care of the hygiene of people. We need to base what we were to learn in what we already have learned. So the previous day's work interrogation was really important. Something important was also to play. Manual working was also useful. You have to not only use your memory, but your hands. Lessons is something related to learning not only through books, but through experience. And a lot of things, as you can see there. And physical education, of course, was really important and something to do every day. These were the subjects. You had to take care of a lot of things. There you can see ladies groups, even though I couldn't find that there was a really difference between boys and girls. But according to the primary sources, this might happen. But the most important thing is not written down there. The most important thing is that something like what we would call nowadays secondary education, there was called the normal education. This normal education was made of the personal interests of kids. So when you have a base of these studies, you could leave whatever wouldn't fit to you, like math or artistic studies, whatever. When you were around secondary school, you could research and learn and be whatever you want to be. This is really important. The teaching materials were so many, like instead of learning what plants are, you should go to the fields to check out what they were. Kids should use their brain, not following the ideas of the teachers. Instead of explaining what exploitation is, you should go to factories, and they were doing it. And they started to publish and translate revolutionary books for kids. And the first one was the No Adventures, written by the French author Jean Grave. Something really important from this school is that they didn't have marks, neither prizes nor punishments. So could you imagine education without exams? They didn't have exams there. It was a miracle to have this type of school in this period in Spain, because everything was related to dictatorship, religion, and capitalism, of course. Also, as I said before, this school was atheist. So that meant that they were doing things. This Good Friday Day, Ferrer, in 1906, Ferrer led a school demonstration with 1,700 students. And they were like worshipping science instead of religion. This was a big scandal. According to this author, this was detonating the definitive closing of the school. But the really closure was when the librarian of the modern school was accused and killed to throw a bomb against Alfonso XIII, the Spanish king by that time. So this was the definitive closure of the modern school of Barcelona. But anyway, by that time, a lot of modern schools had been created, not only in Spain, but worldwide. This is a sentence that I really like, so I'm gonna read it. I do not understand life without propaganda. Wherever I find myself on the street, in the cafe, on the train, with whoever it is, I have to propagate something. I have been exposed to outbursts, and I have felt them, but I can't change. That is, I do not want to change. I prefer to appear indiscreet than to silence a word or an observation that seem useful to make people think. Religion and politics are my battle horses. This means Ferrer was an action man. Rationalist teaching definition is there, always questioning everything, absolute everything, and always woman and man equality. After something that was called the Holy Week of Barcelona, the state blamed Ferrer, even though he was not even in Barcelona by that time, of being the main, protagonist of this Holy Week riots. So they killed him. They killed him in 1909. A lot of protests were carried out throughout the world, especially in Europe. And this is a statue in his honor in Belgium, saying rationalist teaching can and shall discuss everything, placing children on the simple and direct path of personal research. As I was saying, this was called in the modern school the first normal year. Everything around modern school was translated and published, as you can see here with this book. And the most important thing also, or something really important, is that through virtual ethnography and through this book, we were able to find out a lot of things and how these ideas spread throughout the world. For example, through this article that I personally wrote and was published in a Web of Science and Scopus journal called Perfiles Latinoamericanos. And this book was also published in the United States, and as you can see there, the modern school movement. But modern schools were created in Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Argentina, For example, in Brazil, we have modern school in those cities that you see there. And here you see examples of the bulletins that were published in these schools. You can see the data there, 1918, 1919. Also, they were created modern schools in Panama, Costa Rica, Cuba, Uruguay, Bolivia, Peru. This is an example of another bulletin. This one being published in Buenos Aires, Argentina, as you can see there. Always being called Rationalist Publishing, Rationalist Teaching, as you can see there. This is another bulletin published by a modern school in Mexico, in Yucatan, a city of Mexico. And, making this a little bit bigger, this research, you also have in Japan interesting characters, as you can see there. Probably, if you research about this woman and this man and so many others, you can find that there was revolutionary education in Japan, probably. This woman and this girl has had the same end as Ferrer. They were killed by the state. But this is not the end. We were not talking about the past. We have created an academic journal. We're trying to be in Web of Science, in Scopus, as soon as possible. Our 4th number is about to come. And as you can see there, the name of the journal is related to revolutionary characters. A woman called Teresa Mañé in Spain, Francisco Ferrer, and someone that was a revolutionary kid or man in United States, Aaron Swartz. He's got a documentary called The Boy of Internet, someone that had been really important for us to have a free internet. Here you have a few books to increase your knowledge or keep researching about this type of topics. I chose those who were in English for you to, to make it easier for you. And that was it. Thanks so much for your attention. This is my email. This is the link of our journal and also my research website. And that's been it. Thanks so much.